improve on it until we deliver better services every year. So I thank Gambians for supporting this process. And those who resisted, who go on social media, some of them who confess to the GIA Director General, confessed. It's easy to confess. Next time you confess, we take you to court. Because if you have issue, come and take it up with us. You cannot go on castigating government, castigating people when you know that what you are saying is not true. We are open for suggestion. The policy will be floated for people to come. We discuss it. But we will not relent to protect the interests of the Gambian people. And you know what? When I started the change, my principal said, I'm with you. Every minute, every hour. But you cannot fail. If you fail, you pay a price. I said, Mr. President, I'm determined to pay a price, but I'm determined to make sure I will not fail. And I thank God I didn't fail. We did not fail. All of us worked together. And we had a strong team, a strong Hajj Commission, a strong, determined Ministry of Foreign Affairs, a strong, determined consulate in Jeddah, a strong, determined Gambian permanent secretaries, directors who were working with us 100%, who have the interests of this country at heart. We thank all of you for the good job you've done. Mr. Minister, I'm just concluding now. Regarding the housing, when we came in, we realized that, to be honest with you, somebody who doesn't have feast money tomorrow, you allocate him a piece of land. You don't expect him to build a house there. Next 1 hour, he's thinking of how to buy a bag of rice. So what we realize is, they will go and sell that land to Mr. Rich. Mr. Rich will keep that land. And the man go back to poverty, or woman. The next 6 months is all finished again. And will be struggling all his or her life. When you get retired, they give you, you cannot pay your rent. You still have to continue paying, you suffer for the rest of your life. When you die, 3 months, they evict you. They evict your family. You have nowhere to stay. We said, look, we have to put an end to this. Let's try to create a situation where investors will come and invest. Build this house together with government. The rent you are be paying become part of the cost of the house. In 10, 15 years, you become owner of this house. But because we don't have land in Gambia, we are not saying give us cheap houses there. We are saying affordable house that you and I can live. Now in 15 years, in 10 years, I should be able to be the owner of that house. Even if I die, my kids will stay in the house. And what we found on the ground, they will buy these plots from all these poor people, fence them. 6 years, they make millions out of it. And this policy, land policy, is addressing that. If you have land now you fence, you will pay heavy tax to the state. So the issue of land grabbing will come to an end. This policy is putting an end to that. We all know that we've been victims, all of us. Most of us did not know how our land was managed and how our land was used. We have no idea. And to be honest, I must confess, when I took over, I did not know why everybody wanted land. I did not know. Wallahi, I'm swearing, I didn't know. So I invited somebody, a very respected person. He's hearing me. I like his level of education. Highly educated, very experienced man. I invited him to come to my office. I say, why is the problem with land? All this issue, every day I see people killing each other for land. He said, Mr. Minister, let me tell you one thing you don't know. Land is money. It's all about money. I say how? He gave me an explanation about land, why land become money, how land become whatever. I came to realize now, it's time now we try to address this issue of land. I never take it. I thought only cattle are assets. No, really, I can tell you that. When I have my cattle, I believe that I have money. But I came to realize that after my discussion with that gentleman, that land is about money. That's why people are killing each other. So we believe that people who are now getting this land, fencing it, will pay a heavy price once this policy is come into place. If you are taxed heavily, you either lose the land or you surrender the land to the state. There is no choice about that. So that's why this policy is not very popular with some people. You must also accept that. But it is people's policy because they created this policy. So the Gambian people own this policy. So let's make sure that the policy will be fully implemented for the betterment of the Gambian people. So we are in this housing thing. We are working with Social Security, and right now they are working with Celta Africa to prepare the housing diagnostic of the Gambia to be determined by the deficit, the situation of our housing sector. Social Security is working with SAFDAT now, which used to be Celta Africa. They are, in fact, meeting in Algeria in 3-4 days from now. And they are now developing a policy paper on that. And then we are trying to help them secure the land. So far, they've got one, huge one. And we're trying to make sure that they got land in strategic areas. Because people who want to buy these houses want to live in good places. This is not ordinary people. You and I want to live in big houses near the sea or near Gunjur or Sanyang. We want to build good houses so that everybody who lives there, you have somewhere to feel comfortable with. And that's what we are doing. We are not going for cheap, low-cost housing. No, we are going for affordable housing. And then we also will allow what to work on what we call the SPV, the Special Purpose Vehicle, that would now have the funds where investors will invest their money, and the process, how it will go with a mortgage bank, and all the rest of it. This is the next stage that we are trying to get done through the Central Bank, Ministry of Finance, Office of the President, and all other government agencies that are related to this. So I think I have to rush this one. Capacity building. This year, so far, the World Bank project is helping us in terms of capacity building. 10 of our employees have been given scholarship for master's degree. One of them, 9 rather, one of them is BSc, fully funded by the World Bank, because we want to also increase capacity within the various agencies and departments of the ministry for them to be able to absorb. So, and that's why I believe that we have to invest money in them, train them, give them the capacity, the knowledge. And World Bank have agreed to that. We also have a program where we have internship of some of the best university graduates in this field. We have a very attractive package for them, monthly package, I think almost $10,000 a month. And we'll be recruiting some of these best graduates also to be trained, to prepare them also for another degree. At least we would have, transformed the sector, the mindset of land management and usage in the Gambia by making sure that the young Gambians are educated, given the skills, necessary weapons, or tools to be able to manage these things. So that one is ongoing. We've also working on short-term training to help them, make sure that we give them skills to start to grab up prior to the arrival of the graduates that have gone to do their masters and others to go. So it's a continuous program that we want to do. As much as we want to change, you also want to change people by giving them skills and knowledge to be able to do that. Because I believe in education. I believe in knowledge as the best weapon in making sure that you implement any policy that you want to implement. And as you know that the policy will direct your strategy, you need men and women with knowledge to be able to do that. And that's why we are doing it together. On the governance issue, I think we are working with UNICEF. Let me read that one before my sister would be angry. She's looking at me. Governance and decentralization. Capacity building decentralization structures, VDCs and VDCs supported by UNICEF under the Naskino project, training local councils in participatory budgeting, inclusive planning, supported by EU UNDP GREAT project, legal reform, review of the amendment of the Local Government Act 2002. We've gone too far with that. I think we reviewed it 1 week ago. So very soon it will be presented also to Cabinet. Review and amendment of the Financial Audit Act of 2004. Review amendment of decentralization policy of year 2000. Completion of the community development policy to be sent to Cabinet for approval. And we now have the productive economic inclusion, providing sustainable livelihood for 10,000 poor people. For 10,000 poor people, we are now doing that, and household focusing on youth, women, and PWDs in 20 poorest districts under the RISE project. Job, skills, and finance for women and youths, funded by EU through NCDF. So our community development directorate is doing a fantastic job. and supporting youths and women at every level. So on that, do this job. And then I paused for I said, Mr. President, I accept in good faith. I will take the job. He said, it will not be easy, but I know you can do it. You can go and do the needful in that ministry. I didn't sleep for a couple of nights because I was leaving a sector that I became so attached to, and I love doing that. But national duties, when you are called anywhere, you need to avail yourself to that particular task. And I felt it was important and time to move. Yes, we started the journey. As you're aware, it is important that when you run an institution, there are certain instruments that need to be in place. Number one is a policy that directs the strategy in which you run that particular institution for a successful deliberation of your objective. Therefore, having for the first time a land policy so comprehensive, so participatory, was key in this. We found they started somewhere, but because the political will was there, we added impetus in making sure that this policy was delivered to the people of the Gambia. And proudly today I'm saying the policy is 99.9% ready to be delivered to this nation. The 1% is left because I still have some cabinet colleagues who need to make some inputs in it, so that this is the policy that has been the most widely discussed policy in the Gambia. There is nobody in the Gambia, even in the diaspora, who will tell you that I was not aware how this policy was being built, and I wanted to participate and could not participate. Nobody in this country. And then it incorporated the views of many people who felt that they were left out, who felt that they were not part of it, who felt that they were deprived of their fundamental rights of ownership. Everybody's views was brought into this policy. And surprisingly, the 𝐂𝐄𝐆𝐀𝐿, one of the most important bodies when it comes to land issue, all the views of this organization were incorporated in the policy, to my surprise. And that, I believe, taking into account that this country is one of the smallest, but one of the 5th most densely populated country in Africa. And almost all these countries, with the exception of Mauritius and Gambia, have gone to war because of land. So it was timely for President Barrow to come with a policy that would guide the management and usage of land in the next 10 years in this country, so as to avoid the conflicts and the crisis that we face today. Today, between 70 to 80% of all our court cases in our courts is on land matters and land issues. Therefore, we were at a crisis point. It was important to come up, use the men and women with knowledge and values to help support, build a policy that would once and for all address 95% of our problems in this sector. And it started. The policy, the key issues of the policy are on one, digitalization of land records. It is important that we avoid the duplication. We avoid the way we prepare our lease documents. We avoid the issue of 2 people being given ownership of 1 piece of land. And also, you have a situation where the principal cannot tell you which land is used from his office, or you or any other Gambian cannot tell. But once digitalized, the issue of duplication and crisis will certainly be over, because everything will be transparent for everybody to see. Which land is available, which land is here, which land is not used, which land is who owns that, who owns what. And that means we will be safe with that. The other issue is about gender equity in land ownership. Our women have been deprived for too long in terms of ownership of land. In our village, in my village, and most of us in our villages, when our parents die, our sisters don't inherit land. They only inherit the land in the furrows, but not the upland. they are deprived of that. This policy will put an end to that. Women will stand firm to have the right to own land, inherit land, wherever the land is, as long as they have a right to it. Customary tenure formalization. And the biggest problem today we have is the land tenure system, where the issue of formalizing ownership, title, has become a problem. Encouragement, all the dirty things that you are seeing happening is because families don't have title to land that they own. And they are subject to abuse by officials, by other unscrupulous individuals. But once now title ownership is made available to a family or to a community, nobody would tamper with that. The other one is about environmental safeguards. This is again important. We cannot just be destroying our environment without making sure that our land, our vegetation, our usage of this land take into a factor of environmental consequences of bad management of land. And this policy, again, will safeguard that. We all know that climate change is a reality. Whether we like it or not, it's a reality that we are faced with. And therefore, putting in measures, policies that will protect that is long overdue. And this policy will address that. The other one is community engagement in planning. It is important that whatever government do, any other institution, the owner, the people who live there, need to be part of the planning process, and they must take ownership of projects. Some of our projects fail because the projects were imposed on them. They have no idea this project. You just wake up, come and start a project within a community. The community don't even know what you are doing. And at the end, they tend to retire from the project, and eventually, when the project is phased out, it goes dead. And I think some of these things, the policy will address it, that ownership of a project that you want to implement within a community or within a set of environment. Dispute resolution mechanism. We also have that embodied in the policy, where we can resolve issues without resorting to the courts. Some of them have been in court for 10 years, 15 years, 7 years, without resolution. Yet still their investment is in trouble. Because once you get to the court, you cannot get a decision from the court. You worried about how you invest on that land. And we want to put an end to that by bringing mechanism where you can resolve this thing. And finally, let me say, the Gambia government is on the verge of setting up a special court for lands. And I think the Minister of Justice updated me. They've gone too far in getting that done. So we thank the Attorney General, Minister of Justice, for coming up with that initiative under the leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow. We have realized how the issue of land management, land use has become a problem in this country. The other one is about development of a land information system supported by the World Bank under the WACA project. Stages of progress, assessment of land information infrastructure is done. Roadmap for the development of land information system is done. Development of TOR for the land information system is done. Next step is to advertise for the TOR for companies to apply for the development and implementation of the land information system. Legal reforms. We all know that some of the laws are conflicting. A lot of other issues need to be in line with the policy that you want to pursue as a government. And if there is a conflict within that law, unless you address that by amending the laws, you will have a challenge in time to implement these laws. And that's why we want to avoid being caught somewhere, to make sure that all the issues that have been recognized by consultants, by experts, we make sure that where the law needs to be amended, we amend the law. And that's why we are coming up with the review of the review and amendment of the Physical Planning and Development Control Act regulations. Drafting the real estate bill, NGO bill, drafting of Hajj policy. The drafting of the real estate bill, we have started, but we need to move quicker and faster because it's becoming a serious threat. Where institutions have been robbed. We now believe over $500 million have been robbed from Gambians by these agents, some of these agents. And no doubt, GRTS is a victim. GRTS of one is a victim of this robbery of agents. some of these agents that I know I'm privy to. So I say, will be the one to benefit from these scholarships that we are going to award for them to go and study and take over the issue of land management and usage in the Gambia. But be rest assured that access has been addressed adequately in the policy. And you can read the policy. We have a few more days to give the final draft. And once you see something that you want to adjust, you are free to send your recommendation. It will be considered by a team of experts how feasible it is to incorporate it. But I can tell you that 99% of all the concerns of Gambians is in that policy. Any other question left?
Well,
the Car Dealers Association. They are businessmen like you and I. When I do business, I rent a shop. When I do business, I rent a store. Yes, we should have organized them 20, 30 years ago. Give them a big vast of land where they sell spare parts, they do mechanical work, they do all the things and sales. Unfortunately, it was not part of our planning. One of the few cities in the world where you find every meter a car garage, every meter a car dealer, every meter, everything is jumbled up. One of the few cities in the world. We have to regulate that. It's going to be another bitter pill. But we have to regulate together with the councils. We've made a pronouncement on that. Now, when I came in, they said they wanted a piece of land, and they were promised a piece of land. That's a thing of the past. We are now trying to get them a piece of land for them to go and sell cars there. You want to buy a car, you go there. You want to sell a car, you go there. You want to repair a car, you go there. But they cannot be in the city. If they are in the city, they must be in their own properties. They cannot occupy our highways to sell cars. We have to regulate this country. We have to put measures to protect our citizenry from accidents and all these other vices that are related to putting a fleet of cars on highways. This is one of the few countries that have not regulated this sector. We are trying to get them, even if we get them anywhere. People will meet them there. You want a car? You will go where the cars are sold. When you want a car in Nigeria, you go to Dede. You want a spare part, you go to Dede. Some of us who knows Nigeria, we know that. You go to Charoy when you want cars. You know where to buy them. In Gambia, every street, everywhere, every compound. You can find a dealer and a garage. Now they've even taken over Abuko, where we slaughter our livestock. They've taken over Abuko everywhere, every street. We need to regulate that. Look, in leadership, you must hold the bull by the horn and do the right thing. We have nothing against them. They are Gambia. But if they want to have a plot to sell, let them buy land and put their cars and sell. Nobody will stop them. You do front row. But you cannot occupy our streets, use it to sell cars, make your money, and accuse the government of wrongdoing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we move further, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of two honorable ministers. Honorable Minister 𝐕𝐄𝐑, Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, welcome. Thank you for your support, as usual. Honorable Minister of Public Service, Honorable Boy is also here, and also thank you for coming, and thank you for your support, as usual. We'll go take another round of questions, one from this end and one from that end. We'll start with the gentleman here in front.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Mohammed M. Kamara. Yeah, thank you, Honorable Minister, for giving me the opportunity. Yeah, my question for the Honorable Minister is, it is widely observed that there is a strained relationship between your ministry and local government councils, especially the opposition-led councils. What steps are you taking to improve collaboration and build a stronger relationship with the council for the betterment of our citizens? Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll move to the next aisle. Yes, Auntie.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for your presentation. For me, I just needed some clarification on the taxation on fenced land. Fenced land. You said you are going to introduce tax on the policy, yes. So, so no, I just. Yeah, no, I know. I just need.
Demanded that those who have money buying land should be punished.
Yes. So no, I needed some clarification because whether there are going to be some kind of, like it's going to be in a category form. Because I'm just thinking of like a civil servant like myself, earning about $10,000. So I apply for government allocation and I'm allocated a piece of land. So now I gather some money, fence the land. I'm trying to gather some money to develop that land and you start taxing me whether I'll be able to build a house. So I just wanted clarification whether it will be in categories, whether it's big land or it's just like 20 by 20. You'll start taxing me if I've fenced a 20 by 20. Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Minister, I want this consultant to put a bit of light on this, because they will be the expert, tax expert, that's not my domain. Let him enlighten her and the public what we are going to do with that.
Yes, can you please pass him the mic, please? Pass Mr. Ture the mic. The surname is the problem.
You're hungry, she said. Okay. Thank you very much, madam, for that value. Your question is relevant because it's a new introduction, and when you introduce something new, you need to educate the public about it. And that's why one of the things that we'll be engaged in the coming months to really properly sensitize people about some of the policy measures that have been introduced in the new land policy. One of the key things is the taxation of empty land. We all know that land is a gift from God, and land is meant to be a productive asset. Land lying, not being used, doesn't benefit anybody. And one of the key objectives of the policy is how do we use land efficiently and effectively for socio-economic development of the country to address unemployment and poverty in the country. So really, we cannot have any piece of land here which will be lying idle, not being utilized. As the Honorable Minister rightly said, the well-off people bought almost one-third of the country, and they fence it, and they are not using anything. They are not doing anything there. But they are doing what is to land grabbing, in anticipation for better prices in few years to come. We want to discourage that, so that at least if you put a tax on it, it will be a disincentive for them. Government doesn't want to force them and take it over from them. But what government can do that indirectly through taxation. If you introduce a tax, you pay tax, that will be a disincentive for people to own empty land. So they will just either sell, or they transform it and use it for housing, or they do agriculture if it is meant for agriculture, which will benefit somebody. So that's the whole idea around it.
But Honorable, right. Yes,
it's going to be categorized. In the urban area, 20 by 20 means something because it's meant for residential. You either have to put there, yes, considerations will be made. When we talk about productive use, if you are developing it, something is happening. But we cannot see the land lying there for years, nothing is happening there. If you go to the rural areas, 20 by 20 will not be taxed. But really, if you have huge land for agricultural purposes, you live in Banjul, and you still owe share because your grandfathers own the place. So nobody will farm there, that's going to stop.
Mr. Ture, just quick question.
Yeah.
I think what she's trying to say, how does the policy differentiate between someone who's hoarding and someone who lacks the wherewithal to develop?
Yeah.
I'm a civil servant.
Yeah.
My salary is 10,000.
Yeah.
I've been allocated a land.
Yeah.
I struggle to fence it. I'm struggling to build it. How do you know between me and someone who's hoarding? So the tax doesn't bring inequity, because that's going to be inequality.
No, but the issue of, if it is a state allocated land, definitely you've gone through the due process. Maybe not being able to develop it, if the land is not developed because you don't have the purchasing power, as the Honorable Minister said. So the policy considers that. Definitely there is consideration for that. What we don't want is people who are speculating land, which we know that people own land. When we were doing the consultation, the alkali of Talinyi told us that about a third of plots in Talinyi, about 20% of the plots in Talinyi, are empty. He doesn't even know the owners. And he was born in Talinyi. For over 30 years, those plots were empty. In fact, it's a nuisance in the town because grass grows there, pest gets there, and and thieves hides there. So something must be done. And if you look at it, so.
Jërëjëf Honorable Minister sa laajte yooyu am na solo waaye balaa ñoo continuer dama bëgg a recognize benn gentleman koo xam ne liggéey na liggéey bu rëy ci réew mi ba pare liggéey na tam lu rëy ci policy bi wooy Mr Abdou Touré Abdou jógal ñu gis la Abdou mi nekk na permanent secretary place yu bari nekk na permanent secretary lands bi ñoo def suñ tourism policy bi $245,000 bi ñu fay UNDP daf ñu ci taxawaloon trop xaalis bi ñu fayoon I can't remember the figure exactly waaye taawoon na ci trop pour ñu mun a fay consultancy pour develop tourism policy bi bon ñu ngi laa gërëm Abdou ci liggéey bu baax bi nga def tam ci suñ ministry bi ak Gambia bi yépp despite age mu ngee ñëw sonn loo ñu gërëm la ak gërëm ñi mu doon bokkal liggéey bi li am solo mooy soo defarul loi defaruloo sarta soo fa jógee keneen bu ñëwee leneen lay def te mbir mi warta nekk individual dafa war a nekk system in place process in place yow Amat Bah boo fi jógee léegi luum ñëw fa tam luum munta jargati loi bi li loi bi wax rek lay def soo fa deful loi defuloo fa sarta luum bu ñëwee lu ko neex lay def mu sànni indi leneen loolu bokk na ci li nga xam ne moo ñu gétti noonu ci liggéey bi ci mbiri suuf ak mbiri haaj bi ak area yi nga mention nii yépp abu ñoon anything lu laa war a gaay lu laa wax ne nii ngay defalee lii nga war a def waruloo def lii moo tax nag comme que place bi saxoo fa da nga faa génn keneen ñëw da nga fa war a def loo xam ne dafa war a sax ku ñëw da nga toppa loi boobu soo ko bëggee jàpp ñooy la déet du nii de loi waxew ko nii def ko nii loolu mooy safeguard interest nit ñi pour gis ne loolu dafa am solo ci réew pour liggéeyukaay bu nekk dafa war a am sarta war a am guideline maa ngi fee wax léegi ci affaire yi land allocation board prior to the 1997 constitution dañ amoon land allocation board boo xam ne ministre bi mënut a interfere bu ñu allocate land ministre mënut a interfere board bi mooy decide ne kii ak kii moo yelloo moo war a am ba constitution bi indee ñu ne indi di land commission and that defeated that purpose moo tax nga gis all the layout yi ñu def yépp is in crisis from Salaji to Burusubi everywhere we are in crisis and it's difficult to correct because system bi niñ ko léewoon ak ni mu demee dafa utee nam daan mel moo tax nag policy bi dina adresse ñun bi ñëwee dañ oote ñëpp minister du allocate land léegi the entire management team nga ñëw jox ñu sa reason ñu ida d'accord agree disagree nga am mbaa nga ñàkk am moom lañ ko doxalee ba balaa ñooy indi the amendments of the State Land Act ba para ñu indi policy bi in place nga xam ne am nañ proper regulation boo xam ne mooy saytu lépp lu jëm ci mbiri management bi loolu moo tax ñu def loolu jërëjëf estate yi haaj bi mooy policy bi boobu di same la rek we have to have policy regulations in place the policy is ready we want by end of August both the policy and regulation will be in place that cabinet would have dealt with that pour ñu régler ko parce que haaj warta nekk pour ñu am xaalis rek ñun suñ maam yi dañ daan dem Makka ñaari at ñetti at di béy di dem ba egg a Makka am na fi ñoo xam ne dañoo bay juróomi at di dajale pour dem Makka am na ñoo xam ne dañoo dog seen kër yi jaay pour dem Makka am na ñoo xam ne dañoo jaay seen jur gi pour dem Makka loolu nag boo ko bàyyee si nit ñoo xam ne price bu ne ñu tegal nit ñi te nguur gi dugalu ci loxoom bu yàggee mbaj suñ nit ñi duñ mën a demati Makka moo tax nguur gi dugal ci loxoom réguler ko dina métti de waaye dëgg bi rek na am su ko defee ñu mun a continuer ñu mun a dem mu mun a ëllëg su ma fi jógee keneen jógee fi tam loi bi système bi mu ngi in place kenn du ko mun a abuse
jërëjëf
waaw affaire state agency yi boobu moom nu mu gën a gaawee ñu ngi ci ko am because making a law takes time moo tax ñuy njëkkee regulations pour gis ne yooyu na nekk in place pour contrôle leen ñu bàyyi li ñoo def ba pare loi bi mun a dal seen kaw buñ lekkee alali jàmm waaw looloo tax ñu njëkkee loolu jërëjëf. It's politics. Talking keeps it alive. When we talk, policy is alive. When we don't, it's dead. So I don't want to personalize issues here. Both of them are citizens of this country who have great respect in the Gambia, who have sacrificed greatly in this country for the betterment of the Gambia. We respect everybody. Adama Barrow is a citizen, like Ousainou Darboe is a citizen. They both got allocated land. They have a right to it. And they develop it within the guidelines that they were allocated this land. But it's our responsibility to make sure that whatever is done according to law. And I believe that the allocations of both of them was done in accordance with the law. And I didn't want also for two of them to be singled out, be abused, be insulted, as what the media was doing. Because both of them, as I said, were qualified to be allocated land. So I didn't want to get in that debate of why should they get, why shouldn't they get, when they are citizens, they should get. But what I can tell you, just to answer your question, to add to this one, you just mentioned this one before I go to that one. Under this policy, I can assure you that that's why university students participated a lot in this policy. A lot of participation from the university. In fact, some of the consultants were from the university. We took a lot of information from the university, incorporated into the policy. Because we are expecting the graduates from this university that we are training will be the one to implement this policy. And therefore, I gave directive that they must engage university at every level. So that these students who have studied the subject that we are interested